President Joe Biden has pardoned his son Hunter Biden despite previous promises that he wouldn't. Joining me live from the US is Seattle University political scientist Patrick Schoettmer. Patrick, thanks for your time. On record, Joe Biden said he wouldn't do this, so he lied.
Yeah, he definitely decided to say that he wouldn't do this during the campaign because the appearances of it are not good. But we've seen these sort of reversals before at the last minute by various presidents, or by Bill Clinton in particular. But this is not a terrible surprise, even though he's something he said he wasn't going to do.
What do you make of this? What were your thoughts when you heard this today, that Biden is doing this despite he's previously said that he wouldn't do this? There were previous promises throughout the last year from the White House saying that he wouldn't do this. Is this a break in trust? Because at the bottom of all of this, he basically has lied.
I think that the world would be a very different place if politicians didn't lie, at least occasionally. I think this was a campaign promise that he never intended to follow through with. And like I said, I was not particularly surprised when this decision came down. In the end, Biden always held the position that the prosecution of his son was politically motivated, and that had he been anyone else, he wouldn't have been charged with these crimes. So the fact that he went ahead and did it, in the end, I don't think it's a big surprise. And on his way out, I don't think it's going to add too much controversy, although I do think we could see at some point in the future between the admission of the new Republican Congress and the President Trump being sworn in, that there could be impeachment proceedings against Biden in January.
So do you think, you mentioned there that this prosecution was politically motivated, or that's what Biden believes. Do you agree with that assumption?
I'm not a legal expert, but I have spoken to legal experts on this issue, and they have told me that in most cases, this is something that's handled through plea. The fact that this was brought to court and he was prosecuted over it was highly irregular and unusual.
Now, just going back to a point you just made before about the impeachment of Biden, can you just elaborate on that a little bit about what you mean by that?
Certainly. So the new Congress will be sworn in on January the 3rd. That Congress will have a smaller Republican majority in the House, but a majority of Republicans in the Senate as well. And while Biden is the sitting president, the House could initiate impeachment proceedings. We actually saw this happen in January of 2021 after the January the 6th riots, when Congress moved to impeach President Trump in the waning days of his administration. So if the new Congress decides that Biden crossed some important boundary, if it falls under what they see as a high crime or misdemeanor, which is the language in the Constitution, then Congress has the authority to initiate impeachment proceedings.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of months. I'm just reading some of the response on social media at the moment, people responding to this, because it is a major move by Biden here. And as we know, he's on his way out of the White House. And to make such a move, some people commenting saying they don't blame him for doing so, others saying that, it's no surprise. But the problem is so much of Biden's campaign initially, and then Kamala Harris's campaign subsequently, was attacking Donald Trump, saying that he's a convicted felon. And now Biden's pardoning his son. Is that a little bit hypocritical?
It is a little bit hypocritical. But as I said, we've seen these kind of things happen before. Bill Clinton, for example, ran into a significant amount of controversy when, on his way out of the White House in 2001, he pardoned his half-brother Roger Clinton for cocaine distribution charges. Similarly, we saw Trump on his way out of the White House in 2021 pardon the father of his son-in-law, Charles Kushner, of various crimes as well. So we've seen presidents intervene before on behalf of relatives and close allies to do this. So while this is definitely not something that I think holds up to the standards that Biden was holding himself up to, this is something that is precedented within American politics.
Okay, Patrick, we do have to wrap things up, but I just wanted to get your thoughts quickly. Joe Biden issued a pardon for Hunter Biden for any crimes that he might have committed since 2014. Why the specific year?
Likely because that's when the Ukraine Burisma issues first emerged, and that is an area of significant interest in the Republican Congress. There have been a number of hearings over it. And so I think Biden is trying to make sure that there will be no revisitation of the Burisma issue after he leaves office.
Okay, Patrick, thanks for your analysis on this.
Of course.